Hello there. I hope you're doing well today. At this stage of life, we finally get the time to slow down, breathe a little, and think about the choices we've made along the way. And in this video, I want to talk to you about something important. Some of the things many of us spend money on after retirement that don't really bring us the comfort or value we expected. These are lessons most of us learned the hard way, and if sharing them helps even one person avoid regret, then this conversation will be worth it. I want to speak to you like a friend, simply and honestly, because we deserve peace in these later years, financially, emotionally, and mentally. And before we begin, I'd love to know, which state are you watching from? Tell me in the comments. 1. Extended warranties. For many years, I honestly believed extended warranties were a smart and responsible choice. Every time I bought something, a coffee maker, a microwave, a phone, even small kitchen items, the cashier would ask, "Would you like extra protection for a few more dollars?" And at our age, that word protection feels comforting. We don't want surprises, repairs, or headaches, so I usually said yes. I thought I was doing the right thing. But over time, I realized something important. I almost never used those warranties. Most of the items never broke during the warranty period. And when something did break, the company would say it wasn't covered because it counted as wear and tear, or I needed to send photos, fill forms, or stay on long phone calls. Sometimes the process was so tiring that replacing the item was easier than using the warranty I paid for. The truth is, most appliances and electronics already come with a standard manufacturer warranty. And if something is going to fail, it usually happens early on, not years later. Plus, many everyday items are cheaper to replace than to insure. Eventually, I decided to stop buying unnecessary warranties and instead created a small repair and replacement savings fund. Just a little cushion for unexpected issues, no paperwork, no waiting, no frustration. It actually gave me more peace than any warranty ever did. Of course, some exceptions exist. Things like hearing aids, medical equipment, or mobility devices might be worth extra coverage because repairs can be expensive. But for most items, extended warranties end up costing more than they're worth. In retirement, our time and peace of mind matter just as much as our money, and keeping life simple often turns out to be the smartest choice of all. 2. Overspending on grandkids. I think many of us fall into this one without even realizing it. When we retire, we finally have a little extra time, maybe a bit of savings, and a whole lot of love for our grandkids. And there's something inside us that wants to give them everything we couldn't always give our own children. So we buy toys, gadgets, gift cards, clothes, and little surprises just because. At first, it feels wonderful. Their smiles warm your heart, and you feel like the fun grandparent. But over the years, I noticed something important. Most of the things I bought were forgotten faster than I expected. The expensive toys sat in a corner. The electronics lost their excitement. But the memories, those stayed. The time we spent baking cookies, going for small walks, telling stories, teaching them a simple game, those are the moments they bring up again and again. One day, my daughter said something that really stayed with me. She said, "Dad, they don't need things from you. They need you." And that hit me deeply. I realized I wasn't overspending because they needed it. I was doing it because I wanted to feel useful, connected, important. Maybe even making up for the busy years when I didn't always have time. The truth is, kids value presence more than presents. They want attention, patience, laughter, and the feeling of being truly seen. And none of that costs money. I'm not saying never buy them anything. Treating them once in a while is absolutely fine. But draining your retirement savings just to keep up with birthdays, holidays, and trends doesn't bring more love, it just adds pressure. What your grandkids will remember most is how you made them feel, not what you were able to buy. 3. Luxury travel. When many of us retire, we tell ourselves, now it's finally my turn to see the world. And it sounds exciting, doesn't it? After decades of work, responsibility, and routine, the idea of a big cruise or an international trip feels like the reward we've earned. I felt the same way. So I booked a beautiful European cruise. Italy, Greece, Spain, the whole dream. But here's the truth I didn't expect. By the third day, I was exhausted. The early morning tours, the long walks, the crowded buses, the rushing from one place to another, it all felt like work, not rest. My knees hurt, my back ached, the hotel beds weren't comfortable, and half the meals didn't sit well with my stomach. I had spent thousands of dollars only to feel tired, stressed, and far from home. I realized something important. Luxury doesn't guarantee comfort. And at our age, comfort matters more than glamour. What excited us at 40 can feel overwhelming at 70. Travel shouldn't drain us, it should restore us. After that experience, I changed how I approach travel. I started exploring places closer to home, a quiet cabin, a small town, a peaceful lake. No rushing, no tight schedules, no pressure to experience everything. I came back feeling truly refreshed. Sometimes, even a simple weekend with old friends brought more joy than any cruise ever did. There's nothing wrong with a big trip if you truly want it, but don't do it because society says you should, or because you feel you have to check things off a bucket list. Retirement isn't a race to collect destinations, it's a chance to enjoy life at a pace that feels gentle, meaningful, and kind to your body. Choose peace over pressure. You've earned that. 4. Buying the latest tech. There was a time when I felt this quiet pressure to keep up with every new gadget that came out. A new smartphone launched, I thought I needed it. A new tablet, a smart speaker, a fancy watch. I convinced myself they would make life easier. And honestly, a part of me didn't want to be the older person who didn't understand technology. I wanted to stay connected to my grandkids, video call my family, and keep up with the world. But after a while, I realized something. Most of the features I paid extra for, I never used. Half the apps sat untouched. The new devices needed updates every week, new chargers, new passwords, new adjustments. It didn't simplify life, it made it more complicated. I also noticed why I was buying them. It wasn't because I needed them, it was because I didn't want to fall behind. There's this quiet fear we feel as we age, the fear of becoming irrelevant. And companies know how to use that fear to sell us things we don't really need. Eventually, I stopped and asked myself a simple question. What do I actually use every single day? The answer was obvious. My older phone worked perfectly. My laptop was fine. I didn't need the latest screen or camera. I just needed things that were reliable and simple. So I changed my habit. Instead of upgrading every year, I only buy something new when the old one truly stops working or when it solves a real problem in my life. And let me tell you, life feels lighter now. Less clutter, less stress, fewer cables everywhere, and a lot more peace. 5. Subscription overload. This is one mistake many of us discover by accident. A few years into retirement, I kept wondering why my checking account felt lighter, even though I wasn't buying anything big. No trips, no major shopping, nothing unusual. But the balance kept dipping. So one day I sat down with my bank statements, a pen, and my glasses and started going through everything, line by line. That's when I realized the truth. I was drowning in subscriptions. $10 here, $15 there, a streaming service I barely watched, a digital newspaper I never opened, a puzzle app, a meditation app, a trial I forgot to cancel. Individually, each one felt tiny, but together they were eating almost $100 a month, every single month, without me even noticing. That's the thing about subscriptions. They're quiet, they renew automatically, and they're designed to stay in the background so you forget they even exist. Before you know it, you're paying for 6 or 7 things you hardly use. So I decided to take control. I wrote down every subscription I had and asked myself 2 questions. Do I use this? And does it truly add value to my life? If the answer was no, even slightly no, I canceled it. And let me tell you, the feeling of relief was huge. Not just financially, but mentally. Less clutter in my inbox, fewer notifications, and a lot less guilt about paying for things I wasn't actually enjoying. Now I keep only what I truly use. 1 streaming service, 1 newspaper, and that's it. And once a year, I do a subscription checkup, just to make sure nothing useless slips back in. In retirement, protecting your money is just as important as protecting your time. And subscription creep might be small, but it quietly takes away both.
6. Redecorating out of boredom. There was a period after retirement when the house started feeling unusually quiet. Not unhappy, just still. The days were slower, the evenings were longer, and the silence sometimes made me feel like I should be doing something. And in that strange space between boredom and loneliness, I started noticing things around the house. This couch looks old. These curtains feel outdated. Maybe I should replace that coffee table. It felt harmless at first. So I bought a new couch, then new curtains, then wall decor, a new rug, a few decorative pieces. Each purchase gave me a small rush, a little spark of excitement. For a moment, it felt like I was refreshing my life. But that feeling didn't last. After a few weeks, everything looked normal again, and I was back in the same quiet room, feeling that same emptiness I was trying to cover up. That's when it hit me. I wasn't redecorating because I needed change. I was spending money to fill emotional space. I was trying to fix boredom with shopping. And that never works. What I truly needed wasn't new furniture. I needed connection, purpose, something meaningful to look forward to in the day. So instead of buying new things, I started rearranging the furniture I already had. I opened old photo albums. I wrote letters to friends I hadn't talked to in years. I planted herbs on the windowsill. I even started calling people just to check in. Those small acts brought me far more joy and peace than any expensive couch ever did. Now, it's not that redecorating is wrong. Sometimes a little refresh can lift your spirits. But the important question is, are you buying because you actually need it or because you're trying not to feel alone? Once you understand that difference, your home and your heart feel much lighter.
7. Chasing youth. There comes a time in our late 60s or early 70s when we suddenly catch ourselves avoiding the mirror. We notice the lines, the wrinkles, the way the skin doesn't sit quite the same. And even though we feel young inside, the outside keeps reminding us of the years that have passed. I went through that phase too. I thought, maybe if I just fix this one area, maybe if I smooth these lines, maybe if I dye my hair, maybe then I'll feel better. And with those thoughts, the spending begins. Anti-aging creams, supplements, skin tightening treatments, hair coloring, devices that promise miracles. Some people even consider injections or procedures that cost thousands. But here's what I learned the hard way. No matter how much money you spend, you're not buying youth. You're buying a temporary illusion. And when it fades, the insecurity comes right back. The more I tried to look young, the more I stopped appreciating the beauty I already had. Every wrinkle on my face came from laughter, sun-filled days, tears I survived, and memories that shaped me. My hands may not look young anymore, but they once held my children, cooked meals for my family, and worked hard for decades. These are signs of a life lived, not something to erase. And the truth is, the people who truly love us don't care about those lines or gray hairs. To them, we are comfort, wisdom, warmth, and familiarity. My grandkids don't see age, they see the person who listens, hugs, and laughs with them. My friends don't see wrinkles, they see shared stories and years of friendship. Taking care of yourself is important. Feeling good is important. But chasing youth is a battle no one wins, and it drains money we could use for experiences, health, or joy. 8. Giving to the wrong charities. One thing about people our age is that we come from a generation that believes in helping others. We were raised to look out for neighbors, support our communities, and lend a hand whenever someone was struggling. So, when retirement came and I had a little more time and a bit more money, giving to charities felt natural. It felt like the right thing to do. But slowly, I started noticing something. The calls kept coming, one charity after another, all with urgent stories, emotional messages, and requests for just a small donation. I'd give $20, $30, sometimes more, thinking I was doing good. But after a while, I couldn't even remember which groups I had donated to. Some names sounded almost identical. Some called back every few weeks. And no matter how much I gave, they always came asking for more. One day, I decided to look up a few of these organizations. And the truth shocked me. Some were spending more money on fundraising calls and marketing than on helping actual people. A few were even running under investigations. That realization hurt, not just financially, but emotionally. It made me feel like my kindness had been used against me. But instead of stopping my generosity, I changed how I gave. Now I choose one or two charities that I deeply trust. I look for clear missions, transparent finances, and real results. I prefer supporting local causes, where I can see exactly where the money goes. Food banks, senior centers, community shelters. And when unknown numbers call or letters arrive from groups I don't recognize, I simply say, I already give to the causes I trust. Thank you. No guilt, no pressure. Giving should make you feel good, not used. And being thoughtful with your kindness doesn't make you less generous. It makes your generosity more powerful. As we wrap up this conversation, I want you to remember one thing. There's no shame in having made any of these mistakes. Most of us learn these lessons only after retirement, when life finally slows down enough for us to notice what truly matters and what quietly drains our peace. These later years aren't about chasing things or proving anything. They're about living with intention, protecting our time, and using our money in ways that genuinely bring comfort, joy, and meaning. If any of these points felt familiar, please know you're not alone. Every retiree I know has gone through similar experiences. What matters now is moving forward with a little more clarity and kindness toward yourself. And if you think someone you care about could benefit from these lessons, share this video with them. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourself, spend wisely, and stay well.